What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here, finally back with another product review video, and I have been so stoked to do these Ultra Pro Matte sleeve review. I've been holding off on this for a long time. These are my favorite sleeves, just, point blank. These are the sleeves that I use for all of my tournament play, is the Ultra Pro Matte. It says here right on the package, ideal for tournament use, and I'd have to agree. As always, I have not been paid off. I have not been sponsored or anything like that. I bought these sleeves myself at $4, though that is a little bit pricey. Sometimes you can find them for more in like the $3 ballpark for $50. So you're usually looking at, between $5 and $6 for a set of 100. And then if you, buy 3 packs at 50 or at 150, you could sleeve 2 decks for about $10 usually. You could kind of finesse that kind of deal. So Pro Mattes are my favorite sleeves. Now, they do not tend to last a very long time. I will say that right off the bat. They usually last me about 1 tournament, so they're kind of single use, but I think that the kind of shuffle that they provide is just superior and lightweight and very easy to manage, and I do love using them. So we're gonna go ahead and crack these, sleeve up my deck, give my initial impressions. Usually when I'm using Ultra Pro Mattes, they are pretty slick when you start off, so they do tend to be a little bit glidey. The cool thing about Ultra Pro Mattes as well, they come in a huge variety of colors, so there are lots of colors that you have at your disposal. But the weird thing about Ultra Pro Mattes that I've noticed is that depending on the color of sleeve that you get, there are various kind of varying durabilities of the sleeve. Now, I have noticed that some Pro Mattes will rip easier than others. I've noticed the white ones in particular are really easy to break. So if you are a rough shuffler like me, I would stray away from the white ones. Usually, if you want the most durable Pro Matte sleeve, I think that the black are just the most durable. I have actually ripped the fewest of those, though all of them will rip. So usually, if I am playing with Pro Matte sleeves, I will make sure that I have to carry a few extra in my bag just in case I split a sleeve in the middle of the round. Now, I have had some horror stories with Pro Mattes, specifically while using the white ones during tournament play, where I was shuffling up and I would break like 3 or 4 sleeves in the middle of a game and had to keep going in and switching. And obviously, if you're playing at a high-level tournament like a regional or something like that, and you need to keep going in and replacing your sleeve, that is horrible for time management and really makes it rough when you're trying to conclude your match, your best 2 out of 3 series, within the allotted 50 minutes. So that is something that I would stray away from. The white Pro Mattes, not about them. The black ones I have not had any problems with, nor the green ones. These green ones are great as well. Consider these to be, my lucky Pro Matte color, because at a lot of the regionals that I've done really well with, I was using these green sleeves during the first day of competition at least, and specifically during my regionals win at St. Louis, I was using these during day 1. So they've pretty much since then have been my lucky sleeve color, and I will stand by them. Now, there are a bunch of different kinds of Pro Mattes at this point. You have your kind of older version of the Pro Matte, then they have this thing called a new formula Pro Matte. I do not believe that these are the new formula Pro Mattes, because the new formula Pro Matte has something that says new formula here on the side, and the package art is a little bit different. But these aren't the old Pro Mattes either, because the old Pro Mattes have a little silver medallion. So this is like, I'm imagining somewhere in between. I don't know. It's somewhere in between the new Pro Mattes and the old Pro Mattes, but I've noticed that they pretty much all function the same, though I do like that the little Ultra Pro medallion is see-through on these and does not block out any of your card. That is a nifty little addition for sure. So yeah, I mean, that's it. I've had a lot of people asking me what sleeves I prefer for tournaments, what sleeves do I use for tournaments, and this is it for sure. This is, I've been playing these for about 6 years, and I'm not stopping now. Now, other sleeves that I might consider, like Dragon Shields, are okay. I do use Dragon Shield matte sleeves for my old decks and for my decks that I prefer to treat as kind of like collections, because the Dragon Shields are thicker sleeves. They last longer. On an old deck, I'm not going to want to be replacing my sleeves all the time. I'm not going to want to, bust a sleeve either. Want to make sure that my cards, like Rocket's Admin is a huge expensive card now, like $70 to $90. If I've got decks with old Rockets admins, and those things are not getting printed anymore either, So you're going to want to preserve those, make sure that they stand the test of time. And, I feel the safest with those in a thicker stock shield like a Dragon Shield. However, in a tournament deck that I'm trying to win a tournament with and I'm trying to shuffle quickly and efficiently, Pro mats are perfect. So we just got our deck sleeved up, and let's see if I could give it the little drop test. You can see they do tend to slide a little bit. Yep, there they go. That is pretty run-of-the-mill for some fresh Pro mats. You can usually depend on you spilling your deck over at least once or twice right after the first sleeve up. But within a few minutes of shuffling, they will start to feel less glidey and more sturdy. And the shuffle on these is just incredible. It really is. They glide easily. The overhand is effortless. They mash into each other perfectly. That is just so easy on the hand, so easy on the wrist, so easy to perform. This is just an effortless shuffle. They riffle effortlessly. They feel good in the hands. They don't go like shooting off all over the place either. They're not too slick. Some sleeves that I've noticed, I noticed specifically like some Ultimate Guard sleeves have been kind of like oily, I want to describe them as. These sleeves feel very dry. They feel very matte. So I do like that as well. They've got a very nice matte finish on them, which is perfect for tournament play because it minimizes glare as well. In fact, if you're playing at a high-level tournament, most stream professionals will make you play in matte sleeves, especially I know the Pokemon official stream will make you switch to matte sleeves, usually Ultra Pro mats, since they are easier to read for the audience. And you could just see how beautiful that is, and just very, very easy to read with the camera, the light. I mean, you can make it glare a little bit, but even when I point these cards towards the light, you can see they are not totally whited out with glare. They just get a little bit of glare, but the matte sleeve keeps them from totally whiting out with glare. So they look great on camera. They feel great in the hands. These sleeves are incredible, really, for tournament play. They shuffle so quickly and so efficiently. And when playing in a tournament, quick and efficient shuffling is my #1 priority. I want a sleeve that is not going to make my hands tired. I don't have the world's biggest hands. I have pretty average sized hands for a man. So I like sleeves that are easy to fit into my hands, that are not feeling like my deck is too bulky. I've already talked about this in one of my older videos, but double sleeving is a no-go for me, and you are not going to be a happy camper trying to double sleeve with these Pro mats because they are a light profile sleeve that is very thin and pretty fitted to the card. So you are not going to want to try and fit a perfect sleeve in here. In fact, we could try that real quick. With a perfect fit sleeve, you are probably not going to want to do this, though I bet that you can. Yeah, like you can fit it in there, but it's going to get bubbly. It's going to get a little weird. I just wouldn't really suggest it. And at a certain point, like, what is the point of putting a double sleeve on a card if you are just playing in a Pro mat anyways? These do not offer the utmost protection for your cards. If you're looking for more protection, something like Dragon Shield, a thicker stock sleeve, is going to give your cards more protection anyways. But as I've already said, for tournament play, I absolutely recommend Riffle Shuffling. You don't necessarily have to bridge. Bridging is just a showy little technique to get your riffle back into order, back into deck shape. But the riffling is something that I absolutely recommend. And if you're riffling your deck, then your cards are probably going to get a little bent and a little damaged anyways. So then I don't really think that using a thicker stock sleeve really matters, because we are going for efficiency in tournament play. We are going for quickness and speed speed, and then at least, weekend-long durability. That's all we need. We need a sleeve that'll last us through the weekend. Then, we could throw them out or whatever and move on to the next tournament. So for that, I think that Pro Mats are my favorite sleeve to use. Now, I am going to test with these a little bit, actually going to play with these throughout the weekend and then return and let you guys know how these sleeves have worn over the course of the weekend. My initial reactions are fantastic. Obviously, I've shuffled these just a little bit here. Corners are intact now. Usually those will be the first to go with a set of Pro Mats, but we'll see how this review ends up. All right, so I'm back. Just got back from the Charlotte Regional Championships, and I played with these Pro Mat sleeves there. I did not end up doing too well at the tournament, unfortunately, but my sleeves held up great. They are looking good. You can see the corners down here are not even terribly dog-eared or anything like that. Now, granted, I did only play 5 rounds, but if you say 5 rounds, whoop, and like maybe 2 to 3 games per round, you're saying I played at least like probably about a dozen games or so in these sleeves, and they are holding up just fine. I actually did not break any of my sleeves throughout the 5 rounds that I did end up playing, so I had no problems there. Actually, I played some fun games too, so even more, because I ended up dropping, so played some fun games over the course of the weekend as well. The corners are holding up great. The sleeves are not grimy, no grime in sight. Now, you may have seen some of the other glossy sleeves, even the Eclipses will grime up on you and get a little sticky and stuff like that, but over the course of the weekend, these still feel very dry. They feel very, very smooth as well. They don't stick when you shuffle, which is big for me. I hate sleeves that they start to feel sticky when you try to put them together. That usually happens to me with Dragon Shields over the course of maybe a weekend or two. They start to feel like they kind of brick up and start to stick. These still glide just like they did on the first day that I sleeved them up. Now, you will also notice sometimes when you play with these that the tops will start to split a little bit. I maybe had that happen once over the course of the tournament, so the whole sleeve didn't rip, but just the top did separate it just a little bit. But I am a very aggressive shuffler as well, so I will usually bring that out of the sleeves if there is anything like that going on. As far as the backings go, you can see there is no sort of markings or things like that happen. Okay, so this one did get a little dog ear there, but that is like normal wear and tear and isn't really a problem. The sleeves are all very uniform as well. It's something I like about Ultra Pro. There's no sort of excess plastic or anything like that on the edge of the sleeves. They are all very, very slick, very cut correctly. They're not like any alternate sizes or things like that, things you have to worry about with your cards getting unintentionally marked or anything like that during tournament play. There's a lot of care that goes into making sure that these are cut appropriately and very professional looking, so I do appreciate that as well. But all in all, very pleased with the performance of my Ultra Pro sleeves over the course of the weekend. Usually, I will just ride these sleeves out in testing until they finally kick the bucket. Like eventually, after a week or two, maybe 3 weeks, the corners that start to get like super dog-eared. By the time that the corners get very, very dog-eared, I will usually replace them. But I bring out the best in my Ultra Pro sleeves by riffling, really, because so long as you use most of your shuffling with riffling, you're not really going to damage the corners of your sleeves. And that's one of the things I've heard the biggest criticism of Ultra Pro is that the corners get dog-eared very quickly. But if you are doing mostly riffling, then dog-earing your sleeves is not something you're going to have to be worrying about. So that just about wraps it up for my Ultra Pro Mat sleeve review. Very pleased with these sleeves. Been using them for years, like I said, and will continue to do so. The artwork looks beautiful in these cards. You could tell on camera the sleeve really brings out the best in this artwork. Just having that matte feel there, having that matte look. Also, just the quickness of the shuffle, the smoothness of the shuffle is unparalleled. Really, you can't get too much better than this as far as a successful, and proven tournament sleeve goes. I know lots and lots of players who will swear by these as well. So thank you all for watching my product review. I am excited to get more of these pumped out in the future. So thank you to everybody who has been asking for this series to return. I'm going to be doing more of them as I get the time to do them. So thank you all for watching. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, check out my Etsy store and my Patreon in the description below. Also, make sure to check me out on Twitter at enjoyfriend, ENJOI friend, if you do have a Twitter. Also getting my Instagram going too at the same handle, enjoyfriend. Thank you all for watching. Peace.